Okay, so I am back, just me, recapping both episode 6 and episode 7. So let's get into it. So the beginning of episode 6, which is Tuesday night's episode, we are introduced a little bit more to the new girls, Katrina and Kristen. And we see that when they come in, the other girls, at first I wasn't sure if a producer told them to go and all talk together and group together, but I think they just decided that on their own. They all went off in a little group together and sort of started talking about the new girls while the new girls went off to talk to the boys. I thought it was pretty funny how they were spying and not going over there, kind of just looking at them, debating whether or not they should go over to the new girls and join the group, or if they should stay and talk amongst each other, which is what they ended up deciding on. So the new girls were getting to know the boys a little bit more, and not much happened there that was of note. Later we have the girls talking to each other after they've met the boys, and I think it might have been the next day, I don't really remember, but they have that initial discussion of who are you interested in. And what I found interesting watching these two episodes back to back is that Kristen initially said she was interested in Zach and trying to see if he would be interested in seeing someone else. And then Winston, and not really much of a mention of Gaiman. Whereas Katrina, on the other hand, right away mentioned that she was interested in Gaiman. She said she was looking for someone family oriented, not worried about money or anything like that, another thing she noted. But yeah, I just found it interesting, of course, if you watch both episodes, that Kristen was initially talking more about Winston and that Katrina was talking more about Gaiman initially. So there was a lot of interesting action during the kiss and blow game during the night. Winston and Gaiman both kissed the new girl Kristen. Malorie got super annoyed when Winston and Kristen kissed and was not very happy about that situation. Something else I noted is that I don't know if anyone else is doing it, but Cormac seemed to be cheating and putting the card on the inside of his bottom lip instead of actually doing the kiss and blow, but I guess there was no kiss and blow referee, so it is what it is, as they say on the other Love Island. And after that game, Alana was a little bit annoyed about the kiss, but she was pretty cool about it. Malorie was the one who was more upset, which I found interesting, and this is going to be a theme in the two episodes, because she's only in a friend couple and she is not at all romantically interested in Winston, and vice versa. They kind of established that Winston was interested initially, but she wasn't interested in that with him. Malorie wasn't. So they're just in a friend couple, and she was acting very upset about the new girls. She called Kristen a fake bitch in the episode, and yeah, I just noticed that she was very unhappy about that situation. I also noticed, kind of on a similar note, not really, but something else I noticed is that Cormac and Caro were very cuddly in bed that night. Cormac seemed like he was interested in getting to know the new girls, but they didn't really seem like they were interested in getting to know him. So I think at that point he kind of knew that it just wasn't going to happen with either of the new girls. Later in the episode, we have the speed dating. I like that they didn't make the girls choose one or two guys to date and that they got to do the whole speed dating thing. Zach is once again proving me wrong, and he's staying loyal to Elizabeth. So far he's been proving me wrong about how I felt about him in the beginning, and they seem like a solid couple so far. Gaiman was talking to both the girls, kind of keeping it open, saying, we're here for love, I'm keeping an open mind. So that kind of showed that he wasn't fully set on staying with Alana, and you don't really say that unless you are considering coupling up with someone else, because that would just lead the new girls on if he wasn't actually interested in it. So that's where I kind of got the idea that he wasn't set on Alana. And then Cormac, he was trying a little bit, but it wasn't really happening. My other note with Cormac is that I think Caro's way of kind of accusing him before he did anything was interesting, and I don't know if that's necessarily the best way to keep a man, but she ended up not having to worry about him anyway. And this might be interesting coming from me wearing a striped shirt, but something else I noted is that Cormac looked like a Foot Locker employee when he was on the speed dates. Later, after the speed dates, the new girls get a text that they get to steal a man and send the girl to the hideaway. So we have Kristen, who chose Yaman, after Katrina chose Weston. I thought it was interesting that they were doing this because usually they wait until the recoupling to kind of steal someone's partner, but they weren't officially stealing them, and apparently when I looked on Twitter, this had been done in Love Island UK in season 2, which I hadn't watched, so I didn't know it was a thing that had already happened, but it's still a very interesting concept. And I think that the reason Katrina chose Weston, I think about the available guys and without stepping on Kristen's toes, was the best choice for her, and he really seemed to be putting in a lot of effort with Katrina, so I think that was a good choice for her. And Malorie and Weston are only friends anyway, so he's in a friend couple. It's not risky at all. And I don't think it was that risky or hard for Kristen to choose Yaman, because even though he's in a romantic coupling, so was everyone else after Weston. The only other guy she seemed slightly interested in was Cashel, and that would have upset Kira. So I just feel like she had more of a vibe going with Yaman, and then also maybe saw that Yaman was more open than Cashel was, but Cashel also seemed pretty open too. She just might have been more attracted to Yaman. For episode 7, I don't have as many notes as episode 6 because it was kind of just a continuation, so similar things were happening throughout. Also, my Wi-Fi was really shitty during this episode, so sorry if I missed anything. So we start off where the last episode ended, where the new girls are going to sleep with the guys they chose. Not sleep with in that way, but sleep in the same bed as. And the other girls that were coupled up with them have to go to the hideaway. We see that Malorie and Alana are not happy about it, but I would say Alana is taking it a lot better than Malorie is. I still don't get why Mallory is so upset about this, except for the fact that she knows she has the potential of being eliminated. But it's kind of selfish to think in that way, because if the situations were reversed, I'm sure Mallory would have left Weston for a guy she was into if John Mayer walked through the door, or someone John Mayer adjacent walked through the door. She would have been totally fine with leaving Weston. Maybe a little bit sad about it, maybe feeling bad like Weston is, but she totally would have gone for that guy if the situations were reversed. So I don't think that she's acting appropriately for the situation. We see that when the guys and the girls and the guys and the new girls are in the bed together, they're getting along well, having cuddles, seeming to go with this new connection, and all of it seems pretty good. Fast forwarding to the game, because I didn't feel like anything else was that much of note before then. We have the girls dressed up as superheroes going to save the guys from being tied up. My notes for this are: Katrina caught my eye as being super badass the way that she was attacking those cardboard things. I feel like she had the best form out of all the girls, that this were an actual rescue mission. Kristen was really goofy and weird, but you know, that's how she says she is. And she really went in for that kiss with Yaman. That was, I think, what she cared about more than actually looking like a superhero. Kara was crazy as usual. Crazy entertaining, but crazy nonetheless. And Alana was super goofy, but she put on a performance. And with all the cartwheels and all the acting and that kiss, and she was pulling out all the stops after she saw the connection, or at least the kiss, between Kristen and Yaman, and of course they spent the night in the same bed, so she was not going to just sit this one back. She had to pull out all the stops that she could to let Yaman know that she's interested, that she's fun, that she's, you know, a good kisser. She was doing all of that, showing this is me, this is why you should pick me, basically. Later in the episode, we have the recoupling. I know more happened, but nothing really was that interesting to me. So skipping forward to the recoupling. We have the obvious ones, which are Dylan and Alexandra are cool since they got together. Zach and Elizabeth have been together, pretty stable. Then we have the ones that kind of maybe wouldn't have happened if the girls had been interested in the guys, which is Cormac and Caro. Totally feel like Cormac would have gone for Kristen if she were interested, but she wasn't, so he's sticking with Caro for now, but I don't feel like that's a solid couple. I feel like they are both good for each other for now, but both of them I feel like could find someone else if someone else came in. We also have Kira and Cashel, who have been pretty solid, but as Kira mentioned this episode that I hadn't talked about, she usually runs at this point in a relationship and isn't great at opening up. So I could see her pushing Cashel away, or her finding a new guy if she wants to run away in that sense. Also, Cashel seemed totally open to the new girls when he was talking to them. So again, with Cormac, I feel like he could have gone for someone else if they had shown interest, but that just didn't happen. So those are the two kind of maybe not as secure couples of the four I've mentioned so far. And then the big questions were Winston and Gaiman. Winston went first, I think because it's a little less dramatic since he's in a friend coupling. I don't think anyone expected him to choose Mallorie because that would have been basically setting himself up to fail and possibly get eliminated, because generally if new girls come in now, new guys are going to come in later. So he knows what's going to happen. He is interested. I don't think he's just doing it to play the game and save himself. I think he's genuinely interested in Katrina. So I'm not surprised that he chose her instead of Mallorie. And then we had Gaiman, who I really wasn't sure who he was going to choose up until that moment. I might be biased because I really like Alana and I didn't want her to leave, and I was even writing my notes, oh, maybe they'll have new guys come in and they'll just be singles and they'll have to maybe couple up with a new guy. I was in denial until the very last moment, but as you can sort of tell, Gaiman chose the new girl, and that left Mallorie and Alana standing there, and then they got a text. I, again, until that moment was hoping it would be, you're going on a date with a new guy. But no, it was that they had to pack their things and leave Love Island. So unfortunately, Alana and Mallorie had to pack up and go. I think Alana, again, handled it a lot better than Mallorie, especially considering she was in an actual romantic coupling and not a friendship coupling. She was very respectful to Gaiman and not blaming him in any way. She just wanted to know why he didn't choose her and didn't apologize for her feelings and still wanted to let him know that she still had love for him. And I don't think the kiss that she gave him on the way out was disrespectful, even though Kristen might have thought it was because of who he chose. But I think she had every right to do that, and I think the way she left was very respectful. And who knows, Love Island couples in the UK don't always last, so there is potential for Alana and Gaiman to get together later on. And I think she just, again, wanted to show him what he was missing, and also as a way of saying goodbye. And I think that's totally fine, and she handled the situation with complete grace. Mallorie, on the other hand, wasn't terrible, but I think that she was just hurt about being dumped from the island and not as much about Weston not choosing her, and just didn't want to leave. And I think that's a little immature, and that's not what the show's about anyway. So sorry you didn't find someone already, but that's how the show goes. You're not just supposed to stay there until you find a guy that's perfect for you. That's not how the show works. You find them, you make a connection with the people there, or you don't, and then you're gone. That's just how Love Island works. It's not you get to stay there indefinitely until someone you like comes in. That's not the name of the game, and that would be really boring if that's how the game worked. Lastly, we ended with a text informing us that there was a new guy coming into the villa. His name is Winston. Winston, I looked up a little information about him. He is apparently a Big Brother contestant, and people on Twitter were surprised that he chose Kira for the date, solely on the fact that he is a Trump supporter, according to people on Twitter. I haven't watched Big Brother, so I don't know anything about him besides for the fact that he is on Big Brother and that people say that he is a Trump supporter. So that's literally all I know about him right now. And we will see if Kira vibes with him or not. I don't know Kira's political leanings. All I know is that she is bisexual and lives in California, so she might not have the same views as Winston, but that might not matter to her because that doesn't always matter to people when they're in a relationship. So we will see what happens with that date. I still feel like she and Cashel are a better match, but her, not flakiness, but her indifference and no, what am I trying to say? So the thing that might make Kira go away from Cashel and be with this new guy instead is just the fact that she says she doesn't like opening up and she has a tendency to run away from things when it gets too deep. So that is the only reason I feel like she might potentially leave Cashel, but I still think that they would have a better connection than her and Winston, but who knows? I don't know anything about this Winston guy, so we'll just have to wait and see. Thank you for watching my recap on episodes 6 and 7, and I hope you'll continue watching and comment below anything that you thought of. Connect me on all my social media, and I will see you tomorrow.